Hello and welcome to the Master Conversion Rate Optimization webinar, where we're going to go through proven strategies for your e-commerce vertical. I'm just going to give everyone like kind of a minute to get ready, get signed on. I want to encourage you to introduce yourself in the chat. Give us your name, maybe where in the world you're joining us from, and anything you're hoping to learn today as well, but no pressure, just a simple hi would be nice. I wanted to tell you as well, you can give us emojis as we go through. So if you really like what we're saying, or if you don't like what we're saying or disagree, whatever, we want to hear from you. So if you just put an emoji in the chat and press enter, it'll come up on the side for us to see. It's very nice. Hi, Paul. Nice to have you here.
Welcome, Paul.
And Stephen is typing as well. Cool. We've got a, please continue to introduce yourself and please get involved as we go along, but we will get started because we've got a lot to go through. So I am Rachel Tonner, VP of Product Marketing at Athos Commerce, which is a platform that's uniting Klevu, SearchSpring, and Intelligent Reach. Today, we're looking at what high-performing e-commerce websites do differently with practical examples, benchmark data, and takeaways from myself and Rachel. So I'm here with Rachel. Rachel, will you introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Rachael Brandon-Lai. It's a bit of the Rachel show today. I'm head of strategy and experience at Inviqa. We work with leading e-commerce and omnichannel brands to shape strategy, design experiences, and build future-ready digital products. So we're thrilled to be here today with Athos to share some fresh data and UX insights from our multi-sector e-commerce research.
Cool. So what can you expect from today? So we're going to go through what the latest e-commerce benchmarking data reveals from an Inviqa report. We're going to talk through what the top performing sites get right and why it matters. And then we're going to do a UX walkthrough live on 9 standout e-commerce websites, including 2 that were submitted by you who registered. And then throughout, we're going to encourage you to ask questions and comment. We're going to have a poll. And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A.
Awesome. So let's start with the bigger picture. In our latest series of benchmark reports at Inviqa, we analyzed over 100 e-commerce websites across 10 verticals. So think from everything from fashion and beauty to grocery to sports. And we did this using a structured 36-point scoring system. So a few key insights stood out. First, only 59% of brands offer a really good on-site search experience. A poor search experience can be really frustrating to users who look to that more and more to direct them quickly to products. 30% scored full marks for mobile SEO. This is a critical gap given how much traffic is mobile first now. Just 33% had active loyalty programs or tiered customer benefits kind of visible on the site. Only 21% of brands met their basic carbon footprint and sustainability benchmarks. And only 40% of brands offered next day delivery, which is a growing customer expectation that brands really need to consider. So if we move, now we're gonna take a look at some real examples. We'll walk through some standout e-commerce websites, like Rachel said, from our research and break down what they're doing well and maybe some things that you guys can borrow. We're going to start, let me share my screen with Charlotte Tilbury. Here we go. Hopefully you can all see that. Charlotte Tilbury actually earned the highest score across all verticals in our research, in our report. They really combine luxury UX with utility. So you can see right here on the home page, guided selling starts here. Hopefully you can see the drop down for the shade match tools with really clear cues right away to help users find the right products. Scrolling down here, you'll see product recommendations. This is, already based on my browsing history. So a really good use of data and analytics that are going to drive users to relevant products for them. If we move over to,
Sorry, Rachel, I just wanted to call out as well. It's
sure.
really nice how they've said exactly that it's based on products you've
Yep.
viewed. That's a
Yep.
really
Right
nice
here.
call out.
It creates a much more personalized, or a feeling of a much more personalized experience for sure. If we move on to a product detail page, they offer a lot of really great information, including instructions, tutorials, how to apply. You can virtually try on the products here. I'm not going to do this for you today, um, but we have a nice expected experience here, clicking on the product rating to drop us directly to reviews to understand how this product has been working for other users, which is great. I think for me personally, I think this layout works a bit better on mobile. I'm just gonna scale this down for you guys to see. The content for me here, this flows a bit more naturally, and it isn't showcasing so much information in a single view. Moving back to desktop here, there's quite a bit of information, which can be a bit busy, a little bit overwhelming, and can possibly prevent users from finding the information they're looking for just because there's so much there for them to kind of digest, which and then in turn prevents them potentially from taking the next step. We have nice call out here in below the price for loyalty points. So loyalty is really and exclusive offers are really integrated nicely into the experience, and not just on product pages here, but throughout the entire. I'll say strategic moments throughout the entire journey through the site. And I think as a final note on this site, Charlotte Tilbury, they have they had really great scores in terms of site speed and accessibility. I'm just going to pop back to the homepage here, which can really get users of all abilities to their desired content quickly. So speeding up that path to purchase. We know from research that sites that take more than 3 seconds to load can lead to an immediate 40% bounce rate. So never giving your users a chance to experience your content or products if you're not loading quickly enough for them. Maybe some areas for Charlotte Tilbury to grow a little bit. Just going to pop into their search. We did a few tests on their search terms. If you search, conditions, it returns this really nice skin analysis tool, but it's not consistent. So when I searched something like, mature skin, this didn't pop up and it actually didn't find much at all. And then also when you look down at the results here, you're actually seeing products that have oil in them instead of products that might address oily skin. So a little bit of logic to figure out there as well.
I do like that they are trying to do this, even though their technology might not support a natural language search right now. With that banner, they're trying to give a good experience. So, looking at an AI powered search is a good thing, but in the meantime, you can do things to make your experience even better as you get there.
Yes, definitely. And on that note, while this experience is really polished, I think they could look at a deeper use of AI-powered product discovery and more dynamic PDP personalization that could help tailor journeys even further across customer segments. So I think a key takeaway for this site is really let's nail the basics and then layer in that storytelling and service.
Awesome.
Back to you.
Over to me. All right. So we're going to go through Nike or Nike. I've been in the UK 15 years now. I say Nike.
I still say Nike. I don't think it'll change.
So within the trainer and sneaker market, it is predominantly men. I think they have about 32% of the market share. And Nike is showing that as well by leading with men. So they obviously know their customers. So they've put the men's category first. I just wanted to call that out. This site comes up in conversation all the time when retailers are looking at like website layouts. They want it to be like Nike. That happens quite a lot. It is a very clean site. One of the things that's really cool that I wanted to call out was this Shop the Look product recommendations that they're doing. And they have this on the homepage, but they also have it on certain category pages. And there's different ways that they're showing this. So one is like a lifestyle image, and then the product recommendations on the side. And I'll show you in a little bit the other way that they're doing this. I think this is powered by a certain technology. But yeah, it's really, really very nice way of doing it.
I think it takes the burden off the user, doesn't it? You've seen something you really like on the site and you want all of it. You don't have to hunt them down.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess the complications come in when a part of the lifestyle image goes out of stock or something like that, or changes. Yeah. But yeah. Another thing I wanted to call out is their category pages do not seem to be fully templated. So I know that retailers are often in a, there will be a template for a category page. They seem to be doing different things for different audiences. So if you look at the teens category here, yeah, the teens category here, this does not seem to be what I saw yesterday. This is not the right one. Let me go to Nike.com. It might have been on the US website, and now I can't get back to it. Okay, well, on the US website, the teens category, they used some emojis. They had different ways that they showed the, oh yeah, let me just quickly do this. I'll go into, yeah. Anyway, this is when a live demo doesn't work so well for me. The teen versus the men versus the women's category had like different ways of speaking. It had different types of imagery. It was actually different content. So don't be afraid of doing that when you're really personalizing for your audience. Another thing that I really like about this website is they have like sub navigations. So if we do go into back into teens, so as you scroll down, they have this sub navigation for shoes, clothing, sports, bras, and leggings, which is really quite nice because if you scroll down and then scroll back up again, it's the main nav, but then they have this sub nav. So it's really good for focusing the user. Let's go into a product detail page. Yeah, so the product detail page is really well laid out. Good info at the top. Some of the product detail pages also have like the technical specs detailed out in iconography, so it's really easy to see. And the features highlighted in close-up imagery. Again, I was looking at the US site yesterday and now I'm in the UK, so I'm just going to move on. I can't find the page I wanted. They also do this member-only perks, which includes the customization stuff. So if anyone has played around with this, they will know the joy that it brings them. This customized, so you can actually create your own sneakers. So I know they have a lot of budget. This is a big part of their strategy. That might not be the same for everybody else, but it's a really nice builder to have a look at. And they've also introduced like community, which I also think is a great, thing. So they do drops and custom shoes that are only available for the community, which really gets in line with that kind of trainer head mentality. Yeah, Jonathan, maybe they're doing split testing on me. That is true. So where could Nike grow? So sustainability is becoming more and more important, not just as a box ticking exercise, but actually for the health of our planet and the future. So if you want to test your website carbon, you can go to this website, carbon.com website. But Nike does have quite a bit of work to do here. And this is, about, how they host and how they use imagery on the website and how their systems are set up. Another thing is that the search could work better and display relevant recommendations. So if we do a search like similar to what you did before, like oily skin, if we do a search for like performance trainer or something like that, it doesn't display any results, even though they do have trainers or sneakers available. 13% of website visitors drive 31% of the revenue, and that those 13% are using search. So when it works well, it can really be a huge revenue driver. So takeaway here, like simple sites, I'd say that like in terms of design, Nike is kind of boring in terms of the way that it's designed. It's very clean, but it can be great if the content shines. And then don't be afraid to make your collection pages unique to that audience, because I really think templates are passé. Over to you.
All right. Yeah, Nike's one of those brands that can probably afford to be a little bit boring on their website, right? Because they know they have the products, and the products imagery kind of stands for itself. But yeah, totally agree. We could use a little more excitement there. Okay, moving on, we're going to have a look at Lego in the toys and sort of giftables category. Super fun brand. Lego designs for two audiences at once. You may know this, you may not. But essentially, we're looking at kids and adults. And conveniently, they have, when you land on their page, they split the journey quickly here. So this is upon landing, you can choose whether you want to take the play route or shop path. So we're going to click into the e-com side of this experience. And we'll just take a look. I did a lot of browsing through this site, looking at a lot of different Lego products. Side note, I am now convinced that Lego is for adults as well, because they have a lot of really cool, interesting things. But we'll take a look at a product that is a little bit maybe outside of the expected. And we're going to have a look at this Van Gogh art. This product detail page is absolutely packed with information. You can, once again, drop down to reviews very easily. But also just right here, in the initial screen, we're looking at those reviews, rewards that you can gain here. So your Lego Insider points for purchase, if you are a sort of subscriber or member, as well as some product warnings here. Not for small children, this one. Most Legos aren't. And then I think really conveniently, again, they have a lot of good info here. Building instructions. I can't tell you how many times my nephews have lost those guides for their sets. So I wanted to kind of pop into this other product quickly to have a look at this, because I think this is really interesting. Great that they have the building instructions on here, right? They're bringing you back to the website for that. But when you click into, for some of their products, they actually give you multiple guides, so different ways that you can construct different versions of the piece that you have bought. And why I think this is interesting is it allows them to kind of re-engage customers after a purchase if they return to find new ways to build the product, bringing them back onto the site to look at potentially new products as well. So I thought that was really smart. We'll just pop back here because I want to scroll down on this page. I think in contrast to the Charlotte Tilbury site, and maybe just because this isn't a scrolling, this isn't a video here, I think this provides a lot of open space. So while there's a lot of information here, it feels much easier to digest on desktop. And as you scroll down, They include some really beautiful imagery and content that provide some storytelling and keep users engaged a bit longer on the site to continue making those purchasing decisions. So some really nice content here. I know there's, you can, for this piece specifically, you can find out about their work with the museum. So a lot of added content to keep people interested.
I really want to build that now.
I know. It's a bit pricey for me, but I might start small with some of the botanicals. I think also worth noting for Lego, the site's accessibility scores are really top tier. So again, ensuring that all audiences are able to access content and make those purchasing decisions. And while Lego is doing this well, I just think it's worth pointing out, there was I think a Baymard study that found that about 66% of sites they reviewed failed to provide adequate descriptive titles for links. That's a huge and really simple step to take to make sure that your site is accessible for screen readers. Making sure your links, and not just links, but navigation, are properly identified for those screen readers ensures that visually impaired users can find their ways to products easily. And then I think finally, actually, let me just jump back here to this Sunny Bouquet. They have a really nice use of upsell logic. So as you scroll down there, they start showing you different types of products that are similar to what you've looked at here, and ways, they're making recommendations and what you might. I thought that was really nice. Where Lego has a bit of room to grow, their navigation, this looks super simple, but once you click in here, these are really big categories with a lot to kind of browse through from a navigation perspective. So it's a little bit complicated, and I think the navigating through to find a product could be a bit difficult if you're not already really familiar with the categories. And then from a search angle here, I know that they have avatar sets, but when I search that, if I don't know the exact product name, it returns a lot of products that aren't actually relevant to that theme or kind of, the avatar products that they sell. So this can be a challenge. If you don't know that exact product name, you're getting kind of, quite a bit here to sort through. And then finally, I think it's just, there's room for expanded personalization and content-led discovery flows, especially on mobile. This could help reduce bounce for some of those new audiences that are unfamiliar with the product catalog, that are kind of having to search through quite a lot of product to find what they're looking for. So as they're browsing, finding ways to surface content that they might be looking for.
Cool.
We can, back to you, Rachel.
Amazing. Next we have Chinty and Parker. So this was one of the submitted sites. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to do that. So I just wanted to start first with the search. So on this one, in contrast to what we've been talking about before, if you search for pattern shirt, it will show pattern shirts. And if you even put a typo in that, yeah, it's the same. So it's very good. And then the nice big mega menu, really liked that about this site, with really clear typography, and the imagery as well on the overlay itself is very engaging. Throughout the site, there's also high quality imagery that does align to the brand's like premium values, But I did think that the style was a bit inconsistent and the intended audience was a bit mixed. So I wonder if this brand is on a bit of a journey to having one kind of ICP and then going into another. I think that, you know, this is a little bit maybe of an older demographic, and this is a bit more of the kind of Gen Z millennial demographic. So there might be room to grow in like categorizing that a little bit better on even on the homepage. There are customer quotes on the homepage, but adding customer reviews from a neutral source would really strengthen PDPs. At the moment, there's no reviews, so I would recommend adding those in. The category listing pages as well. Let me just go to that. Could be confusing your users. So if you have some kind of heat mapping tool just to see kind of where people are going, this is the typical place where you would see a filtering, but it's up here as well and kind of hidden in. And some of the categories themselves have quite light amount of filters, so you might drop it down and it only has one or two. So it might be better to expose those on the left-hand side rather than keep them hidden on the top. 68% of shoppers want good filters on the listing pages. That was from a YouGov survey, so really good to make that usable for them. On the hero pages, there's a lot of this read more, read less. So to me, being an expert, I see that as like an SEO experience rather than a user experience. And if you're writing the content, expose it. Like, people aren't afraid of scrolling. People want that editorial feel. So maybe have a look at, like, especially on the collabs, because this particular collab like collection is adorable, first of all, but also like there's a lot of opportunity for that like storytelling element to come out here. So yeah. So the takeaway for this, I think templates, this is kind of that template approach that I was talking about before. Like, it can be useful, but make sure you're designing for your audience, and don't be afraid of going a little bit more editorial. Back over to you.
Awesome. I think we'll do a little poll after this one, right, Rachel? So
yes,
let me just bring us to, let's see. We're going to move into the gifting category here, and have a look at Pandora, well, jewelry and gifting. So Pandora is a super strong performer in the gifting category. If we just click into navigation here, I'm going to go straight into a category page. Really nice. And Rachel was just talking about the sort of expectations for filtering for Chinty and Parker. I think Pandora does this really nicely. There's a pop-out filter, really clear, clean categories and filtering options here to get people to the products that they're looking for really quickly, and to discover the right products for them. I think what's also really nice about this site is the how visible the wish list is. Wish list access, I should say. So up here in sort of what we'll call a secondary, or I used to call an eyebrow navigation. I don't know if anybody uses that term. But yeah, you can access the wish list really quickly here, but also easily add products to that wish list from the category pages. What I did find a little bit of a struggle, I think, is once you click into, we'll just click into any product here. Once you click into a product, you lose that access to the wish list, which to me seems a little counterintuitive. I'm not often adding a product to a wish list before I've viewed it. I would expect to be able to add it from the PDP. So that to me seems like a missed opportunity. If anybody joining us today is checking this out right now and can find it on the product detail page, I would love to know where it lives. But otherwise, you kind of, you have to kind of back out to the category page to then add it to your wish list. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there. I will say from a UX perspective, this bothers me a little bit. Every time the navigation is quite large and it surfaces very quickly on hover. So it keeps popping up in front of the content I'm trying to view as I'm moving around the page. But maybe less of an issue in the way a user, a consumer would be using the site versus showing it on a live stream. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about here? I think going back into a product page here, there's really clear delivery information. I think this is super important. Right below the CTA here to add to bag, providing clear delivery options for users and setting expectations for those deliveries are two really important aspects for the online customer service experience. I think it's something like 43. Let me check. 43% from a Baymard study, 43% of websites don't provide shipping information on the product page, which is very frustrating for users because I think it's about 64% of users actively look for that information on the page they're browsing. So huge missed opportunity and can actually cause problems down the line in the checkout process. Because if those expectations aren't set before before they've added to cart and they find out actually this is going to take a week, you're going to see drop off, a large percentage of drop off during checkout. So definitely important to surface that information on the product detail pages.
Absolutely.
Something else for Pandora here, if we look at their search, let's just do weddings. I think they have some really smart search suggestions here. It doesn't just return products, but it also shows you categories you might want to consider or related searches that might return, preferable results for you. So really nice kind of smart search here. And then finally, we'll go back into, we're here in a product page. Loyalty. They highlight right here, the benefits of joining or having a Pandora membership, the loyalty points that you'll earn for each of their products. This is on every product page. And then, if you do sign up for a membership, they make their benefits really, really clear. Sort of at every level of membership, what will you have access to? What does that do for you? So I think that's really important for a brand like Pandora. They're centered around repeat purchases, building a collection, adding those charms to your jewelry. So it only makes sense that they would have loyalty and membership at the heart of their online shopping experience. In terms of room to grow, I think on both the category pages, we'll just pop back here, as well as the home page, I think there's an opportunity for some real-time personalization based on context. Chances are, if you're looking at this site and you're browsing a lot of options, you have an idea in mind, an occasion or someone that you're buying for. So basing this on browsing behavior, in one of those occasions, sentiment, recipient, that could create a much more emotionally resonant path for purchase, especially for those new customers who are deciding if this is the right gift they want to buy. That's that for Pandora.
If anyone on the call is interested in loyalty programs as well, this site does it very, very well too, as well as Pandora. But again, it's based on they really want that repeat purchase. Pandora with the little charms, and obviously this is with skincare, buildable skincare. I'm going to run a poll now. Let me see if this will come up. So we want to know, Oh, Rachel, I've lost the poll.
Let's see. Poll.
Okay, I don't know. I thought it when I clicked that button it would go live, but it didn't.
If we can't get it live, we can get a few responses in the chat.
Yeah. I can't even find it anymore. I think we're just going to have to move on. Sorry, guys. We wanted to know what you were going to be focusing on this. Wait. Oh, yeah, publish poll. Sorry, got it.
Perfect.
Can you see it? Okay. So which area do you want to improve most this year?
And you can choose from any of those options, or tell us if we've missed something, and there's somewhere else that you're looking for improvement.
Okay, so conversion rate optimization is coming up first. Yeah, and then site search and product discovery coming in second. Product detail pages. I've heard now, and I'm kind of keep saying this, that like the PDP is the new homepage, and because Google Shopping and stuff, you're coming into a PDP.
Yeah.
So a lot of retailers are focusing on that. I feel like I'm now influencing the results. Sorry.
We're not supposed to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit hard to separate CRO from checkout process, because they're so closely tied together. And I think in one of my upcoming sites, we'll talk a little bit about the important, the sort of elements to checkout process and what's important there.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to let everyone know that we are going to finish the content of this webinar. We may run over by 5-ish minutes. We're just running a little behind, but you can always hop off if you need to and catch the end of the recording. So I'm really excited about Best Buy. It's one of the best sites that I've seen today, and well, in this process. I'm going to start with the search. So if you look for Best TV for small spaces, it works really, really well. It shows the relevant results. It shows kind of small-ish TVs as that loads through now. Another thing I really like is that it saves the search history, which is really great. So if I click in here, I can see all of the searches that I've made, which for a website like this, if you're searching for lots of things over and over again, it's a really great feature. The filtering on the search results pages is really in depth as well. It goes through a lot of detail. They've obviously done a lot of work on their products and attributes to be able to do this. And they even have like search within the features if there's a really long list of filters. So that's really great for browsing, especially for a website like this where there's really considered purchases and potentially really complex searches that are going through. Another thing, I've never seen this before, but I loved when I saw this. They have a recently viewed category. They have it in the top nav. It's so cool because you can actually go in, you can see the products that you've recently viewed. A lot of retailers will have like a recently viewed product recommendations bar, but it might not be consistently placed. So either consistently place your recently viewed product recommendation on literally every page so that people see it, or do something like this, which is a great way of bringing people back to their search history, to their browsing history.
Well, and this is accessible beyond the product pages, right? It's top navigation, so it's literally everywhere, no matter, so I think that's super smart.
Really smart. They obviously have a really complex catalog, but I also really like their menu. It's very clear. It is busy, but it's clear. And they've hidden the categories within the menu itself, but then they also have this top level nav also. And they also have like a really creative category name called Yes, Best Buy Sells That. They're obviously trying to diversify, but that's a really nice touch. if I go back to the homepage, I think the last thing I searched for was about TVs. Before that, I searched for Xbox stuff. This recommendation at the top of the homepage is personalized and it does change. I don't know how often it changes or how quickly because I literally just search for the TVs, but it's a really nice touch. I also love how they don't just do that hero carousel that has become so commonplace. It's a really clean presentation of quite a lot of information, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. They've got 4 blocks here, which are displaying different information to me. Some room to grow here. So if you search for like razor, so they have electric shavers, but if I search for razor, it's coming up with this bike brand razor. So I don't know if they're meaning to do that, if that actually is more relevant to their audience or not, but to me that seemed irrelevant. So maybe some work to do there. Oh, I forgot to show this, which I thought was really cool. So let me just go back into Xbox. So on the search overlay, if you hover over the different suggested searches, it shows the preview of the search results. I thought that was a really nice touch as well. Yeah. The site is a bit on the slow side. I do have really poor internet in my house at the moment, but it was a bit on the slow side. And on back to the carbon rating again, this is an F. So they really have a lot of work to do there.
And that carbon rating is actually, back to the very beginning of the webinar. That's one of the elements we considered in the, in our 36-point scoring structure, I believe, for our report. So definitely, it's super important now to consider the sustainability factor for your website.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing they could potentially think about is, so Klevu and Athos have launched something called Asklo, which is a PDP AI Q&A agent, which can answer questions about the product that you're on. Amazon also has one called Rufus that they were trialing. It launched about the same time. I think they could definitely benefit from something like that because even though their product pages are very well organized, and they do have questions and answers, like an FAQ, it's missing that kind of interactive element. I think they could look into that. Key takeaway for me on this site is that a busy site can work. So this is definitely a busy site, but it's all about making sure that all of the basic elements work really well and that you're showing the expected information in the expected place. And they've done that really, really well throughout the site. Back over to you.
All right. Now we're going to move into the grocery space. One moment. Here we go. And speaking, this is a departure from busy site. I think that is, a lot here, but I think this site is really kind of like simple. This is T-Pigs. They scored really well in the grocery and wellness space. They stood out for their clarity and content. So it's a very simple, feel-good site for a simple, feel-good brand. I think they have a really highly usable search function on top of, smart, intuitive navigation. I really, I'll say, and fast load times. I know you're not seeing that because we've preloaded these sites for the webinar today. But one of the things I really liked about their navigation is this moodometer that shows up under the shop section of their nav. It's a really great tool to direct users to the right products, and it's kind of funny. It's really on brand for them, and directs users to the right products if they're unsure what they need and want a more guided experience. And for a tea that's kind of more, it's sort of a high quality brand tea, it might be a gift some of the time. So I think this is a good way to kind of help those users find the right product for somebody else as well. What else? Let's
I love,
see. Oh, sorry.
I love that. It's
Yeah,
very branded. Yeah.
it's super cute. And same with the what are you looking for down here. If you know you're a milk drinker with your tea, you can browse all of their products that they recommend having, drinking with milk. So I think this is a really smart way to guide users to the right content. Um, we'll just let's see. I think over here we'll do a search. Let's see if I can spell. You can see that it saves recent searches, which is great. Super helpful. Um, I think this is nice. The search results show, the relevant products as well as related products, which is helpful if you're looking for something additional to go with that gift potentially. But also, what I really liked here is they have articles where you can check out some additional information, maybe get educated on the products and some benefits of those products. And I thought that was a really nice touch to the search experience. Moving on to, we'll look at their everyday brew for a product detail page. So all of their PDPs are really clean. They offer, the expected relevant information, but they're also offering some lifestyle content and some product stories in addition to that key information that users need to know about the product. So scrolling down, you can see awards the products have won, the origin, which I think is in keeping with kind of their focus on ethical sourcing and sort of responsible sourcing of products. You can see, let's see, what else do we have? There's all kinds of sort of tangential information here. You can read a little bit more about their ethical scheme. There's some information, yes, here we go, on how to brew it. I love this. As I will just say, as an American moving to England, it took me several years to be able to brew a cup of tea in a way that I think was acceptable by native English people. So this kind of the boiling or the brewing time, super important to know. Doesn't come naturally to me. So this is super helpful on a personal note. But I think they convey a lot of information in a way that's really easy for users to understand. For those who are using this brand because of their sort of ethical responsibility, there's a lot of information here that can help people feel comfortable with these products. So lots of education, care instructions, sustainability info is surfaced early, helping users make informed decisions. And then here, I just wanted to take a look at the checkout process. We know, the ideal checkout process should have about, I think it's around 12 to 14 elements, form elements for users to complete. You can see they have, I think it's about 10, I counted earlier, 10 on this initial page before we continue to shipping. So we can assume they're probably going to go over that. But at the top here, we have express checkout, which is really important because it's becoming more and more an expectation of users. I want to be able, especially on mobile, right? I want to be able to use Google Pay. I want to be able to use, it's not here, but Apple Pay. Apple Pay's, that's how if I can't use Apple Pay, I'm often not making a purchase. So super important that they've offered this express checkout to users because again, it's becoming an expectation and it really reduces friction in the checkout journey. So room for tea pigs to grow. I think product discovery, through search and through their navigation is super strong, as is their checkout process. But I think they could probably consider some A/B testing for PDP hierarchy, for product detail page hierarchy, and maybe some bundling logic that could help lift the average order value, particularly on some of their lower cost SKUs. I think you probably saw on one of the product pages, these range from £1 to £66. So that could that could definitely be a benefit to them. So I think key takeaway here is, these are everyday items. This is tea, but they're really benefiting from thoughtful discovery on this site.
Thanks, Rachel. Okay, so next we have mouse. So this is definitely, like, phone cases and accessories are now a lifestyle item. This is definitely a lifestyle website. I love the imagery. I love how it's designed. Like, I feel like the buttons and the way that these things look really make you want to click around and click into it. So well done there. The mega menu, it forces you to drill down, which for a product like this is really important because I don't care about all phone cases. I care about mine. So the way they've done that is really good. Like, you can't actually click on the top level navigation. You have to drill down. On the listing pages, this is a really nice touch. They have this show detailed product cards. Oh, sorry, wrong tab. So they have this on the side, show detailed product cards. So I can choose whether to see more information here, like the protection, the weight, whether or not it's compatible. So that was a really nice touch there. And I also think that the way that they do cross promotion is really nice with this. Like, it's, again, that editorial look, but it's cross promoting the backpacks within the phones category. On the search, there's a really lovely visual appeal just when you open the search. I think we're visual people, and that's really important. I do think, though, in terms of the room to grow, the search functionality could definitely be improved. So, like, they have these things like, protection and weight. I'm just looking for, like, rugged case. I mean, I know that's quite a stretch. It's a concept kind of search, but to have some product results coming up here would be good, even if you have to do it via synonyms at the moment. Another thing is, if you go into, so if we just search for like iPhone case, this really surprised me that there are no filters on the search results landing pages. So if you are looking at that, that's great. If it's not on your list, I would really suggest that you fix that, especially because you have such great product attribute information on the website. To surface that in search results is a good idea. And then there's this compare cases function. So if we go to a product detail page, the product detail page itself is really well designed, good reviews, like highlighted at the top. Go to the bottom and you see them down there. But I wanted to showcase this compare cases. So I think this feature is nice, but I was a little confused by what the grayed out thing meant, which I learned later meant out of that particular case was out of stock. But I think it could be clearer that that means out of stock, or maybe put something in where you don't show that case if it is out of stock. I see that same patterning also on the listing pages themselves without any marker as to what that means. So I think that's definitely something to look at. And yeah, just a key takeaway from this, like for everyone else, don't be afraid of funneling your shoppers for a catalog that is less browsable. So like for phones or something like that, like Mouse does a really great job at funneling the shoppers to their phone type or to what they're looking for. So don't be afraid of doing that. That's it from me. On to Berghaus, and then I think that's it.
Yeah, that compare tool is so important, especially if you are, browsing on your phone, because it's so hard to toggle between, I find it difficult to toggle between tabs and different products on mobile. So having that tool I think is really great. It's just important that it's done well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. This is Berghaus our last one, I think?
It is, yeah.
Okay, let's see. We'll pull this up. Okay. So Berghaus, moving into the sports and outdoor category, they were the highest performer in that space. They're a great brand, high quality, and high value products. I think we're gonna pop straight into a product detail page here. Let's see. Here we go. So yeah, look at their PDPs. We find some really robust content here. They include for just about every product some tech specs. For this audience, I think they know what's what in this product space. So they are looking to see what is the technology behind the product that they're looking at. They have care details included here, as well as, should be pretty standard, but it's not on all retail sites. Size charts, super important to make sure that those are included. And then, they offer detailed information down here, just allowing you to differentiate between products to find the right fit for your need. Just popping into another product page here, I liked, it's not across all pages, but this one has it. They have some nice upselling with a finish the look section, like we saw. What was that for Nike earlier, Rachel? Or that was shop the look, wasn't it? But finish the look. So additional products that you might be interested in, and that as well as frequently bought together. So using some good data and analytics to serve up additional products that you might be interested in here. So I think that's really well done. They're making strong recommendations for those relevant additional products. I also like that they're showing the sort of added value here of purchasing from them. So they have this fixed for life. They have a heavy emphasis on this fixed for life. It's on every single product page as well as elsewhere throughout the site. It's a value add service, like free repairs for life. So it helps users understand the benefits of purchasing from the brand over their competitors, and really starts to drive toward loyalty. Also, that they scored really well for accessibility, and they have some strong search. I'm just going to type in, I'm going to pretend that I like to hike, and we're going to just see what pops up here. Yeah, great search results page with really clear usable filters on the left here. I am partial to gray, so we're going to just select gray, and maybe I'm looking for some hiking boots because I do not have those. And it returns results that are within my parameters, and I can easily find what I'm looking for. So nicely done. Overall, a really nice, simple, clean experience with a lot of detail to help make those purchasing decisions. Where I think they have a little room to grow, they could probably do some, integrate some guided selling flows, maybe look at doing this by activity or by skill level, and have some contextual personalization that could really unlock deeper engagement, especially for new to category users. So I think, let's see, 66% of customers, according to Salesforce in this case, are expecting brands to understand their individual needs. So I think it's really important that we're capitalizing on opportunities to personalize the experience. So driving people, if you're not personalizing by their browsing, history, you can do so by guided selling. So allowing them to select and find their way through the journey. But overall, like I said, really great site. They do the fundamentals really well, and I think that's the key takeaway here: is you don't necessarily need gimmicks if you can really nail those fundamentals. That's it for Berghaus.
Thanks, Rachel. So that is the end of the UX review part of the site. We have some key takeaways. We'll send them to you in the follow-up after. A little bit about Athos. We are AI-powered search merchandising recommendations and automated merchandising. You can get more information at athoscommerce.com. It is a merge of SearchSpring, Klevu, and Intelligent Reach. Do you want to say a bit about Inviqa?
Yeah, I'll say something quickly. I already said this, I think, but we're a full service digital product agency, and we sit within the Havas CX network. Our goal is to close the gap between brand promises and customers' digital experiences. So making sure that your customers are getting what they need from you while also, addressing your business goals at the same time and making sure you guys are meeting your KPIs. So if you want to talk to one of the team, grab this QR code, or you can easily just go to inviqa.com. There's a contact page right there. Shoot us an email and we'll be happy to help you out.
Amazing. Well, we definitely should have made this webinar a full hour. We did not plan.
We would have been perfectly on time.
Thank you all for sticking around with us.
Yeah,
If you'd like to get an audit either done by the Athos team or the Inviqa team, or maybe even both of us, just email me and I will make sure to introduce you to the right people. My email is on the screen now. Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. And thank you, Rachel. This was fun.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do it again.
Definitely.
Right.
Have
Thanks,
a great
everyone.
day, everyone.